How to Love and Be Loved by Paramhansa Yogananda. Chapter 4: Spiritual Marriage and Family Life. Part 1: Creating a Spiritual Marriage. How to select your life companion. When selecting your life partner, you must understand the impulses that influence you. You are subject to the following influences: physical attraction, aesthetic attraction, mental affinity, vocational similarity, moral inclinations, affinity of ideals, emotional liking, material greed, attraction to social position, call of the soul. Many young couples get married because they have certain similar mental traits. Mental unity is one of the indications of proper mating in matrimony. But it is not everything. Mental unity may wear off if there is no inner unity. One young man says, "I like her because she loves to watch football games, as I do. I love her because she loves to smoke, drink, and dine, as I do. I love her because she loves the movies and reads detective stories, even as I do." Another says, "I love her because she likes music and poetry and business, as I do." Some couples get married because they like the same kind of work. He says, "I am a movie actor. I love her because she is a movie actress." In modern times, it is extremely important to have a partner who is interested in the development of your business. Doctors and lawyers should not marry jealous partners who might become jealous of their patients and clients. Men of genius should not marry super intelligent women, for quarrels are apt to result. Such a man might be jealous of any superiority of intelligence he finds in his mate. Some men prefer good-looking, obedient, ignorant, and adoring young wives. Other youthful couples marry because they are attracted by good looks, but most people who marry for beauty alone soon part. Physical beauty, if it is not supported by beautiful mental qualities, is the first thing to pall. After the infatuation of beauty passes, the most beautiful face may begin to seem ugly. What people get, they often do not want. What they want, they often do not get. Of course, personal beauty has its place in the plan of life, but greater than physical beauty is mental beauty. Souls that are dressed in purity, apparelled with sweet speech, dressed in wisdom, and accustomed to unending unconditional love, exercise a lasting magnetic hold on their mates. Never marry for money or social position. Some men like to marry rich widows, and some women like to choose rich bachelors, but marriage for money never lasts, and usually ends in the accusation, "You married me for my money." Those who want money should go into business and earn it. They should never try to get rich quick through marriage. There is lifelong humiliation in store for the man who marries a woman for her money. And one wife said, "I married a rich man all right, but he is the worst husband. He beats me whenever I spend money, even for bare necessities." Many couples marry for social position. Don't try to climb into society through marriage. Gain money and fame by developing your own usefulness, and you will automatically attract social prominence. Don't try to become famous by basking in the halo of somebody else's fame. Do not marry under the stress of emotion. Some young couples marry because they love to do things in an excited state. They indulge in meteoric marriages and meteoric divorces. Some people want to get married for the thrill of tasting the forbidden fruit. One rich American girl ran away with the family chauffeur, and when the thrill of resisting her father's will was over, she fled from her husband, immediately after the honeymoon. Two couples once actually suggested that I marry them as the five of us floated down in parachutes from 15,000 feet above sea level. I declined the offer. They wanted only to marry for the thrill of the publicity. They'd have gotten divorced after the publicity stunt and the excitement had passed. I said, "But why go to that expense?" The answer was, "Oh, we will spend anything for adventure and front-page publicity." The second reason I declined to perform this bizarre marriage ceremony while jumping from a plane was, as I told them, "Well, if the parachutes fail to open, I shall be performing the marriage ceremony in heaven with broken skeletons." High school boys and girls usually like to marry under the influence of a somewhat similar kind of excitement. Love for sense pleasures. The devotee, trying to delve deep into soul happiness, is often suddenly possessed by his subconscious habitual love for the sense pleasures. At that time, all the golden hopes of eternal happiness pictured by his inner wisdom seem as if empty and useless. Then the devotee thinks, if I have to forsake tangible earthly happiness now, there is no use in gaining anything, no matter how beautiful the promise of future happiness. The devotee, in extreme sympathy with his sense desires, begins to think, I would rather not be armed with self-control and with the power to resist evil, and let my spiritual happiness be slain by the weapons of temptation, than be involved in a devastating battle between my discriminative forces and my sense pleasures. No devotee should use such false reasoning. Never try to deceive your soul with the fear of renouncing familiar but inferior sense pleasures for superior but yet to be acquired soul bliss. Every devotee, instead of being despondent, should be glad to consign inferior sense pleasures to oblivion in exchange for the unending pleasures of the soul. Simply say no, therefore. Don't try to reason your way out of temptation. No doubt you've already done as much reasoning as is needed to persuade your conscious mind that soul joy is superior to sensory pleasure. What you must deal with now is your subconscious mind. To do this, be strongly affirmative. Reason at this point will be your undoing. Creating a lasting marriage. Give serious thought before deciding to marry. Do not marry until you are sure that your marriage will be enduring. Young people should not touch or kiss one another until they are sure first of their unity on a soul level. Many youthful couples fall in love and marry while blinded by physical attraction. Then, when the fog of passion clears away, they see their partner's true nature and may actually become disgusted. Like shuttlecocks, they fly into the divorce courts. When husbands and wives lose mutual respect due to the deterioration of their moral standards, they cease to love each other. If young people continuously develop their moral standards after marriage, they will remain married because of the regard developed in moral emulation. Many couples marry because they each have lofty ideals and because together they want to preach, teach, and inspire other people. Sometimes, if the wife is respected more by her followers, then the husband becomes jealous, and vice versa. Husbands and wives must both develop their love for true ideals. Then their love will continually increase until the love of their hearts burns as a single divine flame. If the husband desecrates his idealism before the idealistic eyes of his wife, then he will lose her love. When idealism is the spring of love, if idealism dries, the fountain of love will suffer drought. Married couples who continuously become more idealistic at home, in society, and in the world find their love ever growing and changing, until that love becomes the idealistic love of God. Seek complete unity. Young people should consult real spiritual advisors before they marry, and should be guided by long, well-tested courtship exercises. Before they marry, they should, first and foremost, find out whether their unity is on a soul level. Real soul marriage consists in an inborn, undying, unconditional mutual liking, which may be felt at first sight, or may be the result of protracted divine companionship and courtship. In soul union, unconditional love between married couples grows deeper and deeper. There is a supernatural affinity between kindred souls. As positive and negative currents join to light an incandescent lamp, so also a perfect positive soul combined with a perfect negative receptive soul become fused into the light of ever-growing love. Soul love must take the place of animal love. Soul harmony must be the spring of action in marriage. True marriage is only for people who seek divine love in human expression. This is very difficult, for almost all marriages are preceded by only a little love, with passion predominating. In such cases, sex takes the place of love. Then true love, which is unconditional, quickly slips from the heart. On the other hand, if love increases and physical consciousness decreases, then human love evolves into divine love. Thus, both souls realize that they did not love each other as bodies, but loved God alone through the outward illusion of human love. Human love in marriage can never last unless its purpose is to express divine love. Without divine love, Married couples fail to entertain or respect one another, and their marriage goes on the rocks. Sex, charm, intellectuality, beauty, money, culture, or personal magnetism cannot keep two souls together. Every man and woman seeks perfect love in his or her mate, but it is impossible of fulfillment until divine love is expressed in action, motive, and in all life's ambitions. The power of magnetism. Magnetism is a drawing, uplifting, expanding power. Magnetic power is a quality of the spirit. We hear someone say, "Oh, I met a friend who is so magnetic that he inspired me and expanded my consciousness." This is the magnetic power that we all want. This power expands the consciousness, unlike hypnosis or animal magnetism, which merely stupefies it. Every mother should teach her daughter to attract others by spiritual magnetism only, and to be dressed with the real magnetic qualities of wisdom, understanding, thoughtfulness, presence of mind, true learning, and all-round efficiency. Spiritual magnetism will draw spiritual souls. When marriage is unnecessary. Better than marriage, or ineffectually trying to weld unsuited souls together, is the unity between a soul and God. The more we allow ourselves to be drawn toward matter, the more our souls will express disharmony and unhappiness. When, however, the love-starved, joy-starved, complete satisfaction-starved soul turns toward the perfect, all-loving, blissful God, then a real spiritual marriage results. God is the bridegroom and all souls are his brides. Marriage is unnecessary for those who are wedded to the ever-intoxicating bliss God. That is why Jesus, Saint Francis, Swami Shankara, and Babaji were unmarried. They had found perfect love, perfect joy, and a perfect mate in the complete and perfect God. Hence, they had no need to marry. Marriage is a delusive way of finding God. In the moonlight, under the influence of passion and emotion, married couples promise each other eternal love. When they die, the moon laughs at their skulls strewn in graves over the earth. It laughs, reflecting on their failed promise, given under the intoxication of emotion. God is the only one who fulfills his promise of loving us eternally. Hence, union of the soul with the cosmic beloved should be the highest goal of every soul. Union with God will bring perfect love and perfect eternal fulfillment, free from the disappointments that attend all lesser fulfillments. How to avoid mistakes. The spiritual way to choose the right companion is to affirm deeply after meditation. Heavenly Father, bless me that I choose my life companion according to thy law of perfect soul union. If you practice this affirmation for 6 months with deep faith, you will marry your right companion. Or the Divine Father will bring about sudden unfavorable circumstances which completely prevent your wrong marriage. Ideal laws of married life. Couples thinking of marrying should honestly test whether their natures harmonize or not, and whether their love can and will exist under all conditions during their natural social contact. They should find out whether their love has a foundation in real cooperation around a common ideal. Look for a partner who is in harmony with your moral beliefs, hereditary and present habits, business goals, tastes, inclinations, and spiritual aspirations. Before marriage, expose your prospective husband or wife to your business and social activities informally, and find out whether he or she fits in with your habits and ideals. In the same way, explore whether you fit in with your partner's ambitions, temperament, and ideals. The greatest secret of preserving matrimonial life lies in the art of self-control. Learn to love your wife or husband more on the spiritual plane and associate with him or her as a close friend, without constantly focusing on the physical plane. If you can do that, you will win the greatest of all battles in keeping your spouse inwardly loyal, respectful, and loving toward you. Occasionally come together physically and feel it a privilege to do so. Feel then that you are meeting your companion after ages of separation. Mingle with your whole heart, attention, and courtesy. When that deep attention begins to wear off, that is the time to stop. Plan of behavior for the husband. The following rules should be obeyed by the ideal husband who wants to keep his wife loyal and loving. Do not remain in the same room with your wife all the time. Do not encroach upon your wife's independence. Do not disturb your wife when she is busy with important work or with her personal friends. Sleep, if possible, in separate rooms. Do not insult or be sarcastic with your wife at any time. Do not argue with your wife at any time, especially before others. Go out often with her alone and frequently with your children as well, and talk with her about literature, music, and higher spiritual truths. Your life and experience with your wife must be that of daily constant progress in material, mental, and spiritual ways. Your experience with your wife must be that of increasing happiness. Keep your body like the body of an athlete. Eat raw food often, and keep your wife away from kitchen work as much as possible. Make your home life simple and your spiritual life deep. Never lie to your wife. Never insult her parents. Study wholesome books and moral literature with her. Never use harsh language, but always instead use sweet language. Be chivalrous to your wife always, addressing her sweetly with dignity and attention, and thanking her for every courtesy. Remember her birthday and your wedding anniversary. Frequently offer her presents of things she needs, but not necessarily what appeals to her consciousness of luxury. Do not be jealous of your wife, nor make her life miserable by nagging. If you can't keep your wife's attention by love, nothing else will succeed in keeping it. Do not act as if you owned your wife. Help her feel that you are glad to have her whatever she gives you from her soul. Give her freedom to choose her women friends. Learn to respect and, if possible, to like her friends. Live a simple, inexpensive life and inspire her to do the same. Save more. Do not spend too much for luxuries. Meditate with your wife every morning and night, especially at night. Read the Bible and/or other spiritual books together. Offer devotion to God by chanting or singing together. Have a little family altar where you, your wife, and your children gather to offer deep devotion to God, that your souls may be united forever in ever joyous cosmic consciousness. Plan of behavior for the wife. In addition to cooperating with her husband in the ways described above, she should also follow these guidelines. Try to make him comfortable. Try to teach him self-control by love and live with him on a higher moral plane, learned through spiritual studies. The more you meditate with him, the more he will like you. By your example, win him. Don't use force or harsh speech. Try to win him by your ideal life. Keep yourself beautiful and well dressed, just as you were when you first met him. Never speak ill of him to your women friends. Never ridicule him or find fault with him, especially not before his children, and not even in private. Teach him only through silence and love. Never speak to him with sarcasm. Keep him busy when he is at home by reading, writing, singing, chanting, or meditating with him. Make yourself more and more useful and interesting to him. Give him the right things to eat. More raw food, fewer pastries and sweets. Food has much to do with matrimonial happiness. If your husband wanders away morally, do not nag him or speak bitterly. If you happen to know of his weakness, do not cooperate with him on the physical plane until he reforms. Exercise great love and kind attention, and reform him by your love. Affirm daily after meditation. Father, keep me and my husband perfectly united in body, mind, and soul, and in ever-increasing happiness by thy perfect law. Thus, day by day, the ideal husband and wife will find ever greater unity and love on the mental and spiritual planes, and less so on the physical plane. Ultimately, they will find emancipation in God. In Him their souls will be united in the bond of ever-increasing joy, never to part again. Mentally finding God in their souls, they will be one with Him. Difficulties in marriage. Marriage is nature's law for procreation, not only on the physical, but also on the mental, intellectual, and spiritual planes. Without remembering the highest purpose of marriage, a married couple can never find happiness. Too much familiarity, lack of courtesy, over-sexuality, suspicion, insults, arguing before children or guests, crankiness, and unloading your troubles and wrath on your mate must be abandoned. Remember, true marriage is a laboratory in which the poisons of selfishness, bad temper, and bad behavior must be poured into the test tube of patience and neutralized by the power of love and continuous good behavior. It has been said that a man wants a woman until he is sure of her. One wife said to her indifferent husband, "Dear, why is it that you bought me candies and flowers and showered me with attention before our marriage, and now you don't give me anything?" The husband, with a cigar in his mouth, coldly looked at his wife and replied, "Why, don't you know? Who do you think is crazy enough to feed the fish after he has caught it?" The above is a very bad philosophy, for the indifferent husband chills the warm affection of his wife, and the inattentive wife makes her husband callous. Courtesy in remembering birthdays and other important days, and reviving old reminiscences of affection must be continued throughout life. A small flower tinged with affection or a word fragrant with kindness can do much to patch up old wounds. Put on your best suit of kindness and proper behavior first of all with your own mate and children. Practice kindness at home, and you will win everybody else by your magnetic aura of kindness. Jealousy in married life. Jealousy in married life is extremely pernicious. If you are unmarried, do not marry a person who shows a potential for insane jealousy toward you. Especially do not marry a jealous person if you are a doctor, minister, lawyer, or if you work in any other public profession. A jealous spouse is more occupied with imaginary apprehensions than with your business welfare or your psychological peace. Jealousy is self-love. It slowly eats away at the roots of real love. Even if you are jealous of your mate, never show it. If a husband or wife is reasonably jealous to guard his or her mate from falling into the traps of designing people, it is all right. But when jealousy makes you lose your temper and converts you into a sort of ravening demon, then abhor that tendency in yourself as one influenced by the psychological inducements of Satan. If you are jealous because your mate tries occasionally to explore the affections of others, give him a hint or a warning. If he doesn't listen, do not say anything. Don't be jealous or angry or demanding. Everyone has the right of free will, even to err. But if you think that he is a worthy peg on which to hang your life, then put on your own best clothes of behavior, meditate more, and be extra nice, extra cheerful, extra forgiving, extra lenient, and extra magnetic toward him. Do not use physical force to draw the straying attention of your mate, but use the superior spiritual force of offering more love. Even if your love is rejected, do not be ungracious. Kill him with kindness. Let him leave you if he must in kindness, ever regretting that he left you, rather than force him to leap eagerly away from your nagging, jealous presence as if escaping the plague. Couples who once thought that they loved each other should never mock their feelings by later hating each other under the instigation of jealousy. If your love experiment in matrimony proves unsuccessful, then bid each other farewell in a kindly, gentle spirit as befits true children of God. If jealousy is incurable, despite the offering of more courtesy, more trust, more kindness, and more love, then you should part in friendliness and mutual understanding, saying to each other, "We tried our utmost, but our matrimonial experiment did not succeed, so let us part." Jealousy is never a cure for jealousy. Love is the best panacea for this malevolent, ugly psychological trait. If you hate jealousy in others and watch with abhorrence its devastating effects on others, then by all means refrain from wearing the mark of this peace-murdering psychological virus yourself. How to cure the disease of jealousy. If husbands and wives, instead of target practicing on each other with bullets of wrathful language and discourtesy, would try to entertain each other with the soul-solacing charm of kind words, they would create a new happiness in family life. Unkind behavior increases by arguments and disagreements. Unless conjugal love has a spiritual basis, it can never last. If husbands and wives are to live in friendship and harmony, they must be of spiritual service to each other. Newlyweds who forget that true love is based on unselfish mutual service and friendship soon come to a parting of the ways. When two souls are ideally mated, Their love becomes spiritualized and is registered in eternity as the one love of God. Love will win, where jealousy will surely fail. If love can save your wrecked love, don't bring in the demon of jealousy, which might well prove the ruin of you both. If your wife goes astray, and you kiss her goodbye with love and say, "Come back when you are good," then perhaps only one soul will be lost. But if you kill or otherwise condemn your unfaithful, erring wife, then two souls will be lost. Your wife commits spiritual suicide, and you might have to go to the hot place on a very hot chair. Do you see how foolish jealousy is? It kills the very thing it professes to love. Jealousy is self-love. If you loved a woman truly, you could not destroy her love for you by pushing her into the grave with a bullet, and let her go to the beyond, loathing you through eternity. If love can't hold your mate, jealousy never will. Husbands and wives who think they have succeeded in restraining their mates from straying into mischief only succeed in imprisoning the bodies of their mates, with their souls ever marauding in the marsh of evil. Jealousy breeds deceit. Love fosters trust. Let your spouse gradually try to rise from his or her errors with your knowledge rather than continuing to do evil, camouflaged behind the screen of double dealing. The higher purpose of marriage. Spiritual marriage means union with God, soul, and spirit. Marriage is not a man-made law, it is God-made. Man has abused the high purpose of marriage. Marriage means unity on the physical, mental, and spiritual planes. If you attract a person by spiritual magnetism, then you will meet your soul companion. Unless human love is spiritualized, it will be a canker in your soul. Unless you are spiritually minded and your mate is the same, you can never be happy. Spiritual marriage means to marry your soul to the eternal love of God. Without God, marriage cannot succeed. The purpose of marriage is to know God and to be together in God. Unfortunately, this truth has been forgotten. When you have formed with a person a deep friendship that nothing can destroy, a friendship that has no compulsion in it and that increases constantly, you have found a true mate. In woman, feeling is expressed uppermost, and in men, reason is expressed uppermost. In married life, women and men bring out the hidden feeling and reason in each other, thus becoming more perfect in themselves. Reason and feeling in man and woman should be balanced, like the softness of the flower and the strength of steel, both of which are divine qualities. God's is a love greater than the combined love of all lovers who have ever loved. If you learn the higher forms of meditation, you can have true spiritual marriage, union with God, the most beautiful love of all. Remember, no marriage can achieve its true purpose unless the husband and wife seek God first together. In marriage, love also grows by service to each other. When a husband and wife serve each other with the eternal inspiration of God, that is true spiritual marriage. People who rise above the physical plane and continuously strengthen the love of their souls find their oneness in God. When the love of two persons burns as one flame, then it has intoxicating eternal qualities. That marriage which is lived in self-control and intense spiritual preparation becomes emancipated. Man and woman should know that the germ of the infinite is within them. If you cannot find a true soul companion, do not marry. If you have found God, you do not need a human marriage. It is better to remain single than to enter into a wrong marriage. Transmute matrimonial love into love divine, and bring back your consciousness from the sex plane to the plane of paradise. You may unite your feeling and reasoning by giving yourself to humanity. By having a bigger family, you have the right not to have a smaller, more limited one. For all those who are unmarried and wish to remain so, their greatest duty in life is to serve humanity. If you have no children of your own, adopt or teach the children of someone else. Live an ideal life and instill soul qualities into them. What you instill in the souls of children is imperishable. Anything you do that perpetuates your life, such as creative deeds, is, in a sense, your child. Thus fulfill your own true purpose in life.